Okay, yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode here on the Owwll Podcast. We interview some people making major impact to this world. I'm joined by my co-host, Ellie Santra, and if you're tuning in live, you are noticing this brand new podcast table. So we put it together today. Ellie supported me. She was on her hands and knees with me. There were so many screws, and we put this table that is absolutely awesome together. And Lawrence Gartell was here yesterday, and we have a sick design that's going to be wrapped around this table shortly. And he's a famous artist. Ellie
And
knows
you
him
can
quite
call
well.
him on Owwll.
You can.
He
call him.
designed the Grammy last year, so it's pretty cool.
He did. He's one talented individual, of course.
Yay. Well, I think that we should just get right into it today. We have our guest here today, Nail Akhmadullin, and I hope I said that right.
Perfect.
Yes. So I went to one of his events that he threw in Miami, and I was just really impressed with the whole event. We were just talking about it. It was the secret mantra party. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I make musical mantras. So when I saw secret mantra party, I was like, this is fate. This is destiny. I have to be here.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing event at a huge mansion with literally all different people, all different ages, all walks of life for entrepreneurs, people that are spiritual seekers, burners, creatives. Like I said, from all walks of life. I actually ran into like some people that I'd known, met some new people, made new business connections while also having fun at this awesome house, doing spiritual sessions, literally everything. So that's like one of the things you do. And I was just so impressed. And I was like, who is this person that put this event on? And he's also so young. So I just want you to tell everyone, not just about that event, but who you are, what you do, what your passions are, what drives you.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much for a great introduction. It's very small part of things that I'm like really doing in my life and what I've really done in my life, because the way how I live is like 100x speed, and just being like in Miami 1 year, I've been able to not only gather a festival movement, but also open a rental business company and the marketing, where we help different businesses gather traffic of their aim clients. And that's all my expertise. I know exactly how to, bring a lot of people to different places, and it doesn't matter. You sell services, you sell goods, you do the app, and you need downloads, or you need like the registrations for the website. And I'm from Tatarstan, which is a state of Russia, but not really Russia. We have our own rules, our own president, and that's why I would never consider me as Russian,
Mm.
because my ethnicity is different. I'm a Tatar, and I'm proud of it. I speak Tatar language first, and only then Russian. So this is also something that helps me, stand a little bit out from like the whole nation, right? Because it's a little
Yeah,
different.
I don't think I've even heard of it before, honestly.
Yeah, you can check. You can check.
You're like, I just made up my own
It's
language. No.
it's definitely a place to visit.
Yeah.
Tatarstan, it's my homeland and the place that I miss all the time. And the capital of the state is Kazan, which is a third city. Moscow, St. Petersburg, and then Kazan. It's like an official third capital.
Oh.
Not a lot of people know, but like definitely.
And you said you've been in Miami for 1 year now.
For 1 year and 2 months.
And what brought you here? How did you get here? What made you decide to come here?
So my first time when I came here was 3 years ago, but I would never consider this place as a place to live, because I thought it's like, Spanish place.
Yeah.
But I've been in most of the touristic places. When I came second time, I was invited to the Russian entrepreneur event on the Seafair Big Yacht. If you know, it's next to the it's like right in the Brickell.
I know about the tea party.
Yeah,
But that's
so
the tea group. I don't know about
yeah,
this.
and
Is
what
it the same group?
it's not the same group.
Okay.
It's like different entrepreneurs
Yeah.
who
Okay.
came here and decided to gather all Russian-speaking entrepreneurs together in Miami.
Okay.
And I came to Miami specifically for this event from Boston. I used to live there. I was like getting my master's,
Okay.
and after this event, it was a 3-day event, different places, like the most fancy restaurants, and at the same time, entrepreneurs from all over the states. I shake hand with so many people that I was like literally forced to go to Miami so I can like continue to
Build the
projects.
relationships. Yeah.
Yeah, and like being involved into these projects develop myself as well, because I don't really do all the time one thing. I have all the time different interests. I organize something, then I have interest in something else, I go there. So,
So you need a
and
lot of contacts for that, I feel like,
exactly.
because you're doing one thing, it ends, and then where does the next job come from or whatever? When you have a big network, you're probably constantly you're on one project and the next opportunity just comes.
Yeah, and I always follow my heart, I would say, and my intentions, and what my inner feeling tells me. That's what I'm doing. Because when I'll be like in my above 60s, the last thing that I would like to tell is I'm like sorry about things that I
Regrets.
regret.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
What was the big decision on why you moved to America?
for better life. I came here for the first time and seen how people live here. And when I got back to Russia, I was I was actually on the start of my spiritual path. And what forced me to go on a spiritual path and work with my mindset is things that was surrounding me. I was not understanding how people accept living in that. And every day I was waking up and thinking about how I want to go back to the US.
So
And
your
a year
heart was your heart
yeah,
was calling you already.
and a year ago I moved here completely. A year ago, I mean a year after that, I moved to the US completely. And a year, 2 months ago, I moved from Boston to Miami.
And what about on the education side? Like, what skill sets did you have before coming to America? Were you at universities there, and you were into social media, computer science? Like, give us an example of what you were learning there, and how you really shifted gears once you got
I've
here.
got my bachelor in computer science from the state universities in Russia. I've been studying in different ones and like changing them also. Like studying in one year, I was moving to the other one. I also was changing the groups all the time, from like the average to the top ones. And when it's time to the masters, I moved to the US to get it. That's why I was living in Boston. But at the end, I've done an extension school. Decided to like not spend my time, but I will definitely get a master's soon. That's my main aim. Like,
And when you say computer science, like obviously that's broad. Is it like coding, like the tech
yeah.
side of
So
things?
what I was studying in my bachelor is how to literally code the C++, Python,
So that's why
Java,
you asked
JavaScript.
if we coded the app. I feel because you were, and she's like, "Are you guys the developers too?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, that is not.
Yeah,
It's
and
not our strong suit."
I'm
But
I'm like I'm like familiar with a lot of different things, but mostly more like fundamental,
Mhm.
because my direction was not about like the web and design, but more about like the backend part. So that's why it's a C++ languages where you and like when you use mathematical analysis, where you like track the storage, like the Amazon storages, right? Or the fastest way how to get to the point B, like the maps, routing,
Mhm.
all this stuff. At the same time, how to properly secure information and like code the pictures, how the pictures are made, like all this stuff. So
Mhm.
this is more
All
like
the stuff that
fundamental.
everyday users like us never have any understanding of,
Yeah.
right? It's just like this thing works. It works great.
I
We want
want
to
to
know behind
talk
the scenes.
about your marketing background more because you were explaining to me how you've gained your own following, how you help businesses, influencers, entrepreneurs gain a following. And I think that like every business out there needs good marketing. So, like,
Absolutely.
all of our listeners will definitely be interested. And I am myself, one, because I've been pitched, I can't even tell you how many times by marketers, right? And companies saying that they can help me grow my brand. They can help, there's a million people out there. And one of the things I look for is I go to their page and I see how many followers do they have themselves. Half of them have like 3 followers. And I'm like, if you're going to pitch me that you're such a good marketer, why do you have no followers? So obviously I see that you personally have a good amount of following. And the next thing that I always look for is fake followers, fake engagement, which isn't always easy to detect. We've hired influencers and been very paid them to help us with our brand, been very disappointed. So you mentioned to me that all of your following and everything you do with your clients is literally either organic or just through paid ads, and that we've tried paid ads as well and had a difficult time. Like, we really didn't get traction on that. So I'm curious, like, if you can give us just some tips because it's so difficult out there.
I'm not gonna give you only tips. I'm gonna break you all the stereotypes, and I'm gonna like, open the whole truth that maybe none of the people who do the marketing told you.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a stereotype for the producer to be also a popular person and know exactly how to make it in his own pages, because I've seen a lot of like very strong producers, especially people who do the paid advertising, who don't have a big following,
Mm,
and they are experts in their field.
okay.
It's like being a music producer or the artist
Yeah,
producer,
yeah.
and that's what I consider myself. I would never say that I have like a big amount of followers. Yeah, I have like 400,000 subscribers on my social media accounts. All of them grow organically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the way how like the traffic works in our lives, and the way how like you need to become popular, is by using all the instruments, and not only paid advertising, not only organic, but also like, mm, databases. Uh,
Data what?
databases.
Okay. What is
Um,
that exactly?
Lists.
so
Read
the,
lists.
the
Paid lists.
databases. So I don't know. Different people use it different way, but I also what I've done working with influencers, right? So I'm gonna start you. I'm gonna tell you from the start, um, from the education first. Being as a computer science person, I was never like a big brain or like big analytical thinking person. I always loved to gather people around and like be around the entrepreneurs community. This is the reason how I came and realized that I would love to develop more in direction where I'll have people with influencers, and with people with audience. And my first project was actually TikTok, and I started on TikTok. How I made it, I was making the TikToks myself and gathering views
Was
organically
this for your client, you're saying, or for
for
your
me
own? Okay.
first, and then realized how the platform works, I started to do it to different people. I made it first for the artists, then like for different experts selling services, and at the end we ended up making it for like businesses. And the way how like developing social media of the businesses works is very hard to get organic sometimes. And but when people see you, especially in paid advertising, they need to understand that you're already a good working model. How to make it? Only imitate that you already have it. So, and when I came to the businesses, I stopped using only organic. I used like all the instruments. And this is also the way how you can like affect the conversion rate. If you sell the services or you try to gather people, you definitely need to look like your already working model. So anyone who will see you in the paid advertising will definitely understand that, like, wow, this guy's doing amazing. Like,
And is that through the content that you're creating? Like,
for the content, for the paid advertising and databases. What is the databases? It's like a database of the Google accounts that can make one action, like let's say per second, and we create them myself. Like I do them myself, and I use them specifically for the commercial pages, not for the influencers or experts, because they're supposed to grow organically.
mhm.
And the databases can make one-time action in anything. Like we can regulate the depth of the view, we can regulate the amount of like followers, likes, everything. And by posting some content following the algorithm of the platforms, we use this database on the start, so we will like, avoid algorithms to not boost you, to give the organic grow.
Mhm.
And by using the database, we help the video explode, and the whole
But
platform
there's
like
nothing illegal in
nothing
terms,
illegal.
nothing, not illegal, but like, because I know so many people have gotten warnings and like kicked off.
No, no, no. The
For,
databases work different, and like I know that people do a lot of different things like giveaways, but giveaways are like killing your account,
mm,
because people who are not interested in your content are following you, and when they see you but skip, algorithm accept it as not interesting content.
mm.
When the databases follows you, even right, it's like an active user that doesn't affect your recommendations. But when the database hits the video when it just posted, it can help explode on the recommendations. And as I told you, when I was making it, I started to explode not only on my account, but I also been making it in different places. And I gathered a community back to Russia with 2,300 influencers, and we signed a contract with them. And the agency is in my bio. It's called inside. And what we were making, we were producing the content. We've got like a huge studio for influencers, and by making a lot of views, we're helping monetize it by signing a contract with platforms. I've been signing them on a TikTok Creators Fund, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. All of those platforms pay you for the short vertical video content.
A-
And yeah.
And like in terms of the database, I'm still just a little
Mhm.
confused because it's like I'm really not techie. So for the people out there listening, like is this database just full of it's like an actual program that's like giving you views, or is it like real people? Like what is it exactly? What
It's
technology?
just accounts that
Okay.
like multi accounts that registered on the platform, but the platform we created ourselves, and
And are they so they're like fake people essentially? Or
it's
they're not
empty.
bots.
It's
Like
empty. It's
okay.
empty, but it also can be filled, imitating that they are real.
Okay.
Uh, but um,
So
but the
once you
concept,
stop using that though, then does that mess up the algorithm?
no, because the databases doesn't affect recommendations.
Okay.
But the databases we use only for the commercial pages because our aim
Yeah.
is to gather clients.
Yeah.
Speaking about influencers, never, because if you will be using it for the, for example, content where person tries to gather the audience,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he don't need empty things.
Right.
You don't need empty things. And also the aim for the influencers is gather people who like watching them not because of the content
Right.
but because of their personality.
Yeah. And they want to follow them and join their community or
Yeah.
something. Okay.
But what I also been a witness is people who've been making content, forgetting about the like the personal brand personality, we're getting more views.
Mm.
I've got influencers with like 30 millions, there are 25 millions followers on TikTok. We were putting them on YouTube Shorts, making 10 million followers on YouTube in 6 months.
Wow.
This is like the growth. They've been gathering like 300, 400 million views per month.
So
And
yeah.
these people were not even care about the personal brand. They were just making and making content all the time the
How
same.
much content are they posting a week? Like what is the what do you have
Speaking about TikTok, I would say like 3 4 videos a
a
day.
day? Yeah. But not say not TikTok, say Instagram. How many
Instagram,
videos?
like couple 3 posts a week.
Yeah. And YouTube Shorts, what would you say?
YouTube, the same like TikTok.
Same as
Yeah.
TikTok.
So
Oh.
so the TikTok actually is the
So why wouldn't you want to just do Insta? I'm like, that's a lot of work, 3 videos a
so
day. I would rather do 2 videos a week.
okay, I'm gonna open you a little bit also eyes. I would never consider Instagram Reels as an opportunity to gather traffic organically because the cases and influencers who really made it, very small amount.
Mm,
But a lot of people who made it on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and even YouTube Shorts right now is overgrowing TikTok. And how it happened when the TikTok released, I think in like 2018, it's already broke the tradition where like five most popular apps was Instagram all the time. Speaking about downloads and users at the moment. Second one was WhatsApp,
mhm,
Facebook, Messenger for like five apps from one company and like all Americans. And in
mm,
2018, the Chinese company broke this tradition
mm.
that even US wanted to buy it because they was afraid of the safety.
The data, yeah.
And in 2020, TikTok became top one everywhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
Amount of views, amount of users, and you like sit and ask yourself, who are those people? But
Mm.
the answer is the same people who download and watch Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook,
So
You're
everywhere.
saying
do the influencers themselves have a business, or their business is the follows, the likes, and then of course partnering with brands like Owl, then say, hey, I could post on my feed. So what is your typical influencer client?
My typical influencer client is the person who has a lot of views or potentially can get a lot of views because how app works, right? Everyone who understands it right on the fundamental level, um, apps are developed specifically to sit as long as it's possible. And even the people who are developing, they're already afraid of the algorithm that literally forces you to spend much more time on the screens. Why? Because more you scroll, more ads you watch.
yeah.
Of
The
course.
companies doesn't really even sell the ads. They doesn't sell the information about you. They sell the pattern of your behavior.
Mm,
So when you speak, for example, in WhatsApp, Have you ever have you ever thought about why WhatsApp don't have ads? Because when you spoke with your friend about the dog toys, and you'll go to Google,
And then all of a
you
sudden,
already
yeah,
see the
yeah,
dog
yeah,
toys.
yeah.
How it works? They don't sell information; they sell your pattern
Pattern.
and your behavior. And what's the aim for the app? Is also invest into the influencer, so influencer can produce more content. That's why they have a creators fund.
Mm.
And my influencer, my like client was influencer who was getting a lot of views because I was putting them under the creator funds where they were monetizing their views. I was literally getting money from the platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram for my influencers and like sharing the percent. This
You're
is,
like the middleman in a way.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
let's talk about also the difference between two accounts. One person has a million, and the other person has a million, but one person's making 50 grand a year and one person's making 2 million a year. I see that quite often. So what is the difference between those two ABs?
Okay, so I would say there are two types of influencers that I
Yep.
met. First one is just people who made the content, and second, people who like sell products. And if we speak about the people who sell products, they have more like loyal audience, less people who watch them. They watch them not because of the content, but because they're experts in their field.
Mm.
And I've been a witness how like even small influencer were selling the courses, making launches products on even bigger amounts. Why? Because he have the value for them. The other people don't have the value, they just have the content and people watch them because of the content.
Correct.
right.
Yeah.
And we see that quite often. We've partnered with folks through TikTok, and we did one with a doctor,
Hmm.
and a lot of people then downloaded Owwll because they want to chat with the doctor. Then we did one, over here that just had a large following, bigger than the doctor, but it just was nonsense. It was just funny videos, and we just wanted to run a test for fun. It wasn't that expensive, like $100, $200 per video, and that one got practically no downloads. So you have to be extremely careful as a business owner, right? We're running our own app, right? Is like really testing, each model and then find the right niches
Hmm.
and partner with those brands, of course.
I was also working with influencers and making the launches. And what I realized, even in nowadays, I think this is the highest income skill. Like, there are a lot of high income skills that you can get, but being as a producer for the course launches, this is like the top thing that you can make. Um, yeah, it's like supporting the topic. And speaking about how to drive traffic to download the app, I wouldn't consider like influence marketing the best way to do this. It's a lot of. Have you ever heard about the affiliate marketing?
Of course.
Yeah. So
Which is what our brand ambassador program
oh,
is
really?
telling you about.
Yeah.
Like similar.
And it's a lot of
Kind of.
affiliate teams who do the traffic for the gambling, for the game development industries,
Credit cards, they're big with
credit
that.
cards. Yeah.
Points,
And
rewards. Yeah.
the way how they works, they arbitrage the traffic by helping like different websites or apps get the downloads by getting paid for like each user registered. Yeah, and it's just a question of finding a proper team because developing the app for the influencers, I would say it's a little hard way, a little hard way. If you like want to like expand on the web,
Yeah.
if you want to expand like for the
Like
audience of
if our
the,
goal is downloads and users, you're
yeah.
saying getting influencers is not the way to go.
I mean, it all the times can help,
Yeah.
but I think spend on influencer ads, it's less conversion rate. Like
Yeah.
I've been spending so much on the influencer ads than like on paid advertising or affiliate teams, um, for like nothing. I would say the only option where the influencer ad worked is where like you drive this traffic to the same platform, for example, Instagram to Instagram, and the second influencer who getting the traffic sells the product, the course launches, like everything connected.
Yeah, it's themselves teaching the course. So they want
Yeah,
to, of course, pay for the course because they like that influencer.
yeah, and
That's kind of why Owl's unique in that sense because we have a brand ambassador program plus an affiliate program. But that individual could say, call me on the Owl app exclusively for $50 for 10 minutes of my time. And then to drive some of their audience directly in. And anyone who downloads it, they get a little bonus, but also, revenue and perpetuity in a nutshell.
yeah, and also speaking about selling courses, what I realized, two main things. and two different of people. So first ones are who have the product all open all the time, and at the same time, not um, like not a certain product that can help you get a skill so you can earn money. And second type of influencers who were selling it only in certain amount of time,
Mhm.
and after this date, no.
Yep. Yep.
So, and at the same time, selling product that helps you to get a skill that will earn you
Mhm.
earn money. You can earn money. Like for example, you can study the web design, or you can study
Yes.
implementation from
So
the
give us
demo.
a real example. Talk about your most successful influencer you work with currently, what he actually is doing, so we could really grasp like the understanding, because it's public, right? He has an account. We could follow that individual and really see what you're speaking of.
So, for example, I've got launches with like zero ROI, where I was launching people for like the coaching, for like something with not a skill that can really get you money after. But I've got a successful cases with dentists for the implantation courses, at the same time courses for the web design, and also courses to prepare for the exams in the
Exam.
university.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
in Russia. So everywhere where people ready to really give, it's to develop themselves, but nothing connected with like I
So
would say coaching and like psychology, because it's not a hard skill.
So
It's
you're
not a hard
saying
skill.
like your client is the dentist who is then pitching, or who's saying like, buy my course that will teach you these skills that you need to be a dentist, essentially?
Yeah, so he's an experienced expert in his industry,
Yes.
very well known, and he had an audience, and we made courses at the same time, an offline program where we gathered dentists all over the country, specifically to tell them from this dentist about the implantation.
Hmm.
So what people think, okay, I'll learn from him so I can make my check higher,
Hmm.
right? So I'll earn more.
Yeah.
At the same time, dentist, it's the audience who can pay, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Lawyers teaching other lawyers. I mean, it
exactly.
goes around in circles. We have a headshot photographer that's famous in South Florida, and we built a whole post for him on Instagram where he has a big event coming up. One of the, I guess, the most famous headshot photographer in the whole world is flying in for his event, and he's teaching other photographers who are also flying in. And then he's literally going to post it on his Instagram account and pin it to the top. Pick my brain, $50 for 10 minutes on Owwll. But it relates to what you're speaking about. And then you
Yeah.
could take these databases and dive even deeper, run paid ads, and then more headshot photographers see it. And then all of a sudden they're like, I want to take this course. And it just keeps continuing. And he's the leading expert for headshots, and it just continues in a circle.
Yeah,
And that's what
speaking
you,
about
and
like
other headshot photographers are like, I should do this too. But there's enough, out there to continue.
yeah, speaking about businesses, I would say this is the top one that you can make now, because it's literally like selling the ear.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You don't have the expenses on
Yeah.
like office or anything,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious also, in terms of like the content. So say it wasn't necessarily the course, say it was just an influencer, right? Who was, say, an artist or whatever it was, and they want to grow their following. Um, you know, someone can burn out like doing 3 videos a day. Like that's a lot. So do you guys help like film and create the content as well? And then like, what is it? Is there content batching? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, we've got a studio, and we actually have got like more than 100 studios around the Russia
Okay.
at the end when I left. And those studios were specifically for like influencers who sign a contract so they can come and create a content anytime.
Okay.
Also, what I was making, I made two projects. It's called TikTok houses. Have you heard about the influencer houses?
Yeah, yeah. We were
So
just in one the other
We're
day.
gonna have the
really,
we're gonna have the nest one
The
day. We
nest.
already
The
talked
owl
about that.
nest.
So Owl will
really.
have the nest.
Yeah.
Okay, so I two projects that I was making before as a TikTok house on local, and at the same time the country,
Mhm.
uh, and this is the way how you can keep motivated. This is the way how you can be around people who also can make a content. This is the way how you can make,
Promote each other, I'm sure
yeah,
too. Yeah.
make like even 5 videos a day.
Hmm.
And our influencers were not only put it in the atmosphere where they develop, we also made a reality on it,
Made a what?
a reality show.
Oh, okay.
It was Long story.
What about the
It
flip
was a long
side, the
story.
negatives to this stuff, right? Often everyone says they want to become what you just said and find out the harsh reality that it comes with a lot of negative comments and you have to have very thick skin, right? We see this with entrepreneurship all the time. People fold, right? I'm running this mobile app Owwll, and I can't tell you the amount of hate I've received, and we're not that large yet, right? We have thousands and thousands of people on the platform, but you could imagine once you start having an audience of 10 million, 20 million people, every day you're getting hate, right? And you're getting DMs that are outrageous. And we even see it with superstars like Taylor Swift, right? She went through depression and she talks about it. So kind of talk to that side for a moment.
Our haters are our biggest fans.
Well, they drive the algorithm. They give you more. Feel like haters is a good thing because
I'm making everything only
yeah,
for haters.
my friend who's in marketing literally recently told me like try to make your tagline or your copy whatever as controversial as possible
Yeah.
because then the more hate you get those haters are just helping you grow because
More
yeah,
provocative,
yeah,
more outstanding, more breaking
it's a
people's
game. Like I
minds.
feel like you just can't even think of them as like real people. Just think of
Yeah.
them as like bots behind a
And
computer. Like
crazier thing you say, more
and
traffic you get.
I don't know if I
But
even
but how,
believe what Taylor
but how
Swift
do you
says.
protect
That could be like a
but
lie.
how do you protect yourself on that side too? Because you start doing it and you open up a can of worms that you can't reverse, right? We just see it on social media where people go down this path and then they just can't believe the amount of emails and the responses, and they can't sleep at night because they're getting death threats, right? So like you got to be careful on one end saying I want to be controversial, right? And you could go to extremes right now, right? You always see
Yeah.
this with
I also
politics.
been
Politics is a great
witness.
example, and
I've been a witness of this kind of
and
influencers.
right,
It's
there's wars going on and people say this or that and it creates a lot of buzz, but like be careful when you start getting like real hate messages and it's uncomfortable. So I bring that up because I've now done 300-400 podcasts and I've seen so many influencers and then switch gears, right? They're like I decided it's not for me. I'd rather just own a business, right? And have a couple employees and not focus so much on the fame aspect, right? Be behind the scenes more, right? You mentioned earlier like all the coding, and you could be extremely successful and do things not always having to be that video person every single day and be on, right? So I think it's important, right, when people hear all this stuff that there's both sides to it and you see both sides. That's why I bring it up.
I've seen both sides, but the ones who were you know in the situations
Yeah.
where like the whole world is against them, at the end converted that this world loves them.
Yeah.
Because as I told you, all the haters, it's just a matter of time, will become your
Well,
friends.
Andrew Tate is the best example of that, right? He had so many haters, but at the same time, like people love watching him, right?
He
He
makes the
was
provocative content. He also like lets people to discuss what he said, right? He tells something, so wow, someone not agree, and people will definitely tell him, like, try to convince him in their opinions,
sure.
but
Mhm.
by but like spending that energy, they're just expanding him. And I've been also witness of how the influencers were growing like this super quick, and like becoming popular artists, popular, the famous Russian rapper Morgenstern. He became popular like this. He was, telling that like all the music, all the artists that you guys listen are like fake. He was telling that they don't know about the music anything, and he was convincing people that just sitting in the studio for like 5 minutes, he can create a track that everyone will listen. And he was like provoking. He was telling, I'm gonna sit in the studio and make it in 5 minutes better than like the popular artist. And he was provoking. He was saying everyone is bad, only him is a master.
Yeah.
But speaking honest, he's not even that level of mastery. But he's you
But
know
people are like, "Who is this guy?"
yeah,
I
and
mean,
and everyone like
look at
wow,
our president,
yeah,
presidential.
and
Like
he
when you're like, "Ooh, I'm amazing," and everyone sucks. Like people, it
yeah,
riles people up. Yeah,
and now he became the most famous Russian rapper. Of
yeah.
course, people were hating him a lot, but when it comes to your real, you know, who
Your life.
who
Yeah,
you're like,
you know who your real friends are. Like it's a job. I feel.
I mean, people come to you because of the provocative things, but when they open your personality, and in the bottom of our hearts, everyone like is kind person, and everyone has their inner soul, and when you show it to the already audience and like with a feel of sorry, they accept you as a like their close person. So
Mhm.
it's also important to not be only provocative, but at the same time honest. And when you like play literally in between these two wings, right? You like no like a shaman
Mhm.
between yin and yang. You this is the key.
Let's
Mhm.
talk about the events a little bit more. How often are you seeing yourself doing them in the future?
Um, Actually, events came to me just because of my interest, and I never had an experience making them before. My first one was in the New Year, and I gathered 100 people like in 10 days. Just my
Was
friends.
that like through marketing, like online, or was it like just
It
friends,
was
word
word
of
of a
mouth?
mouth
Yeah.
at the same time, a little bit marketing. I don't know, $0 marketing, just
Okay.
word of a mouth. But this event was commercially successful. It was also during the New Year's Eve, where like a lot of different things were happening, and I'm a no name who gathered like very strong community, and we gathered burners, entrepreneurs, and at the same time spiritual seekers by doing the practices, and then like
What
learning.
makes it successful though? Right? When you say success, like, I could have a barbecue at my house with 100 people in 10 minutes saying I got beer and beer pong and I'm going to hire a DJ and I'll get 100 people by sending a couple text messages out right to my current Rolodex on my phone.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean like what does that really mean? I just mean I have a good time. So when you say like it was successful, right? Like define that a tad more.
So first of all, for me, event considered successful if we earned money from it, right?
Perfect.
Being as an entrepreneur. Second is that people are satisfied and the people are giving me a lot of positive reviews. From my first event, only one negative review that I received, like personally, only one. But I don't even care, right? But
That means you
uh,
didn't push the limit. You didn't push the minute.
yeah, but
You
I
need more
You need
haters
more.
now.
You need more to be like it was too expensive.
about
Or
the events actually, I I was, only receiving a lot of words of thank you and gratitude. And my second one that I made literally like in a couple months after, I made for 600 people.
Was
And
that the one I went to?
yeah, and
Okay.
that was my second event in my life. And I never organized anything before. And I made it like literally in 1 month and a half, 2 weeks of gathering a team of 100 people working together, and then the 500 people invited. But this one was a little different because as you also get inside, you are not paying for the ticket. You know,
Yeah.
I would be making a huge guest lists. Why? Because I understood and realized how the funds for the event can be gathered from different sources by the vendors, partnerships, and sponsors. And this is an opportunity for me. This event was to make it a little bit more loud in Miami and bring the community. So when I'll be announcing my next ones, people will be waiting and ready to pay. So it's like like techno and rave parties. Um, People doing them for the first time, they always in a minus. Like I've been a witness of people like make them and been like in a minus like 50K. But when they make a next one,
of course.
because they make it as an image history, right? The second one was a huge success that even covered the expense from the previous one. So for me, the last secret mantra was more like this.
Are you
Yeah.
also selling any content afterwards or getting them as clients, for example? A lot of people do events just for the clients afterwards, of course, because they have a list. And then, of course, they value that individual from running the event. And then some of that converts, of course, you could text them, you could email them, you get their contact info.
Absolutely.
When you have an
So
Eventbrite page, for example.
if you remember when you was entering the property, I was gathering all the information from your person, and I have like a breakdown of everyone who entered, CEOs, like designers, people, and I
Mhm.
have like a huge mail list where I can like specifically reach out to the CEOs and offer them something, everything. So,
Yeah.
but for me, this event was not about this, being honest. For me, this event was just following my, you know, inner feeling that I just want to serve to the community by making it. And the idea of this event were to create a space where people give and don't ask anything in the back. It's like a Burning Man playa.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's a place where people do a lot of different activations and like ready to and can express themselves the way how they want. and at the same time exchange, get a potential gigs, clients, communicate, network. And that was the idea. And I was bringing it to the community. I was lighting every person like a candle, and everything happened organically. Most of the activations that was on the property was created because people were just following this vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I was
And
I
that's the thing. It's not like a network. Like when you say entrepreneurs, it's not like the networking events that we go to where it's like serious and it's
it's
like a mix of like people are just being real and being themselves
yeah.
and then the connections happen
And you
naturally.
know what's the concept of the secret mantra? It's not event made by the organizers. It's event made by the people who came.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same like the Burning Man vibe,
Yeah.
because people who organize Burning Man, they don't do any activations inside. They just create the space, build a barrier, and let people come.
Yeah.
And why the Burning Man is like the top festival in the world, where people do it not for the money. There is no money, because they do it because they want. Every DJ stream is to play in Burning Man. And why people? And the whole infrastructure organized by people, from people to people. That was the concept of Secret Mantra.
I didn't
And
even know that going in. And I had been to Burning Man the last year. And then I was like, oh, cool.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
I love this. The
Yeah.
second you walk in.
Woo.
and
Yeah.
You
this
bring
is
up a great
exactly-
point because a lot of big events haven't changed. You go to say I go to so many conferences. I'm in the financial service business as well. And it's like every year it's the same thing. Panels, keynotes, booths, and you kind of just go right to happy hour, right to
boring,
a
like,
dinner, and you're like,
yeah.
it's like over and over. And then I go to a different. We get invited to so
It's
many
the
different
same. We
events,
go to so many events and it all
and it's
feels
just
like
like
the same one big
and
event.
everyone cheers everyone on, and it's a lot of patting on the back. Like your event was amazing on social media. Then everyone posts on LinkedIn, then Instagram, and you're like, awesome event. And it's just like, it just seems like there hasn't been newness out there with like a
Yeah.
hybrid is what you're speaking about in between, because obviously you have bar scene, which is just go to the bar and be entertained, right? And then you have like the corporate events like Emerge America, right? Where it's pure networking, right? And keynotes like Tom Brady on stage, right? But this is kind of a new reality that people want more, kind of like when Instagram, LinkedIn are around, and then all of a sudden TikTok came out, right? It's for
Yeah.
you, right? And that's what
I
I'm
feel like
getting
this
sense.
is like this was more of like connection first and then
Yeah.
like business second,
Yeah.
which like honestly works better because
100%.
you get to see if you vibe with someone as a person and then
Yeah.
like things just happen organically.
And at the same time, make it not typical. That's why
Yeah.
people wear festival outfits. That's why people go for the activations.
Mhm.
And everything was with the also panel discussions in the morning. We also got a panel discussions, different speakers speaking, but at the same time we've got like on the
Like
side
music and like
music, sound healing,
ceremonies,
yoga. Yeah.
sweat lodges. I did that.
You did a
I
sweat
did the
lodge?
sweat lodge, but I did have to leave
Temazcal?
early. Yeah. It was the last day. It was like the last
Oh,
event.
really? You
Were
stayed
you in
till?
there?
I was in Temazcal first round.
Yeah,
and
I did me too. I left too because I had to leave. I
Oh,
didn't even
really?
know you
You've
were
been
in
in
there.
Temazcal?
Yeah. I was like
No way.
singing in it because they were like different. They were like, all right, like the women like sing something, and then it was
Wow, really? You
yeah.
stayed? You've been also on the morning rapa ceremony?
The what? I don't think.
Rapa, no?
No, because I only got there the last night. So then they were
Okay.
like, do this where they like they like cleansed us with like the I don't know
Wow,
the
really? I
fire
didn't
things.
even knew that you stayed till the Temazcal. I also been in Temazcal, but I've been like
Yeah, I
knocked
didn't know
out.
that's what it was called, but yeah.
Yeah, Temazcal, it's an amazing practice. It's like a
Yeah.
shamanism, Mexican shamanism.
Yeah. That's so I did the first round of it, but then I had to leave because I had somewhere else to be. So I just
Yeah,
like
from the first.
exited the tent, but it was in tent. I've never done.
Oh, really?
Everyone was like this close together. It was
After the first round, I was like leaning on the ground with
Uh,
like
I
losing the
think maybe
consciousness.
that's where I think I did see I recognize you there because I obviously recognized you, but and I had known that you put on the event, but I'm like, where did I see him that night? Because yeah. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
And you've been also to the hangar stage?
It was that the one where what that woman
Hangar. In the hangar.
I think where I don't know if that's what it was called, but there were just like a bunch of candles and a bunch of people gathered. Like it was by the pool, like the pool.
It's a dragon stage, but we also have got a hangar.
Oh, I didn't go to the
It's-
hangar.
It's like a big hangar.
No.
where People will like partying the whole night.
No, I missed that. I don't think. Or that wasn't by the food trucks, was it? They were like
Mm-mm.
food. Yeah, I don't know. No, I missed it. Again, I was only there the last night.
Okay.
So yeah. But it was great. I can't wait for the next one.
Have you had a podcast there yet? We've been getting invited everywhere for our interactive podcast, but obviously we got to slow down. We've done at a couple events, and now we're just starting to charge because we're coming in like the band or the DJ, where it's just so much work to bring our booth out like this and
So we
Instead of
set it
this
up
TV,
at
it's a
I
we just did
banner, and
TEDx and
people
we
love it because we go live and
absolutely.
we get a
and
cool
we interview.
experience. We bring this whole sound box out,
Let's make it.
and people love it. But then we have to be careful with our time because we're like, wait a second, we're just getting more and more content.
Yeah,
We're like,
and
we need
this is
downloads. So like we're like, hey, maybe we'll just start charging. So we started putting like 6,000, 8,000, 10,000 with different packages on our brochure because we're realizing we're helping the venue sell more tickets.
yeah.
And then after the event, it actually, they could buy social media packages from the content. We could partner with the event themselves, and then it pushes the message deeper because they're posting about it from the content. They're getting
And now
stuff
that
on
we can
video.
create groups on the app, so like we could create a secret mantra group and then everyone joins, they can connect, call each other afterward,
This is
the
how I
whole
was gathering. I've got
yeah.
a team who've been making a podcast there. I'm super open for you guys to come for the
Yeah.
next event. You can organize your own corner. You can organize it like with a QR code with anything you want. You can, if you want, you can even make a studio.
Yeah.
I'm only open to any kind of activations that can help
Yep.
to these activators also gather potential, traffic.
Yeah.
And this is the way how like the exchange works. I give something, people give, and this is like the way how I'm gathering the community.
Mhm.
I'm trying to give. I'm trying to, how one person told me, provide God for me, so I can, times more, make it times more than I received.
Mm.
So
Okay, it's
Yeah.
that time. We're going to make an owl call. We have someone that is the director over at Linked Me. They have the Linked Me house in Miami. So I think it'll be unique to give him a call because they do a lot with social media influencers as well.
it's like a TikTok house.
Yeah, of course. Do you know Link Me or no? I know
No.
they post a lot on social and they do a lot of events themselves down in Miami. So we're giving him a call now. We're going to wait for him to pick up. So continue to chat while we're waiting for him to answer.
I guess for the people out there that are listening, going back to your marketing services, I know you talked a lot about like Russia and clients over
Mhm.
there and doing the houses over there, but I'm assuming that you're taking on new clients here.
Yeah.
What kind of packages, like what is the pricing like? What kind of packages do you offer? And like the
Um,
amount of time as well that it takes.
so yeah, that's true. I'm trying to get rid from the Russian clients, and I already have more people from the US.
Mhm.
The prices can vary. They can start all the minimum can start from 1,500 up to like hundred thousands.
Yeah.
But I don't choose like how much you guys pay.
Mhm.
You guys choose how much you wanna like pay.
Invest
Of course,
and is
and I'm
that
gonna tell you for this budget how many like things you get. I'm gonna make a research. The team gonna make a research, and we will tell you if you put this amount, you'll get this one.
yeah.
And the way how I drive traffic, I work with different technicians. I'm not the one who like setups, but I work specifically with like US ones. And I have a partners as well who like 16 years in this business, and who like monthly in the paid advertising drive like millions
Mm,
with with the high conversion rates, with a conversion rate like 90%.
mm,
And there are only 2% of people who do this. So when I even selling for example, the marketing service to someone, I'm convinced that they will bring them a result. And I have clients, who like pay, let's say, 2,000 and like get 80K visits for the website, right? And I have clients who pay like 20K and like get like 30K visits for the website. And
interesting.
we also track the conversion, like the amount of people who.
We sure can.
Yeah.
What's up, Chella? You are live on the Owwll Podcast. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely. I'm enjoying it and I'm taking notes.
Cool. We're going to raise up your volume a little bit. She is watching. So can you ask our guest a question? And I'm going to go ahead and put your profile up on the screen so everyone could see who we're speaking to. So go ahead, Chella. Floor is
Oh,
all
yeah.
yours.
Well, I thought that Ellie had a wonderful conversation. If maybe he can finish up that thought. He has packages starting the minimum 1,500 and then 100. But I want to hear the next part. It's how do
Yeah.
they choose which way to go? So
So
I'm taking notes.
absolutely. So the way how we work, we take a look on any kind of business. It can be, I don't know, like it doesn't matter. You sell barriers in Seattle, or you sell boxing matches, like, or you sell tickets for the boxing matches. You have a yacht service in Miami. You have a dental office in Manhattan. You have a candle shop in Chicago. you like, I don't know, sell Amazon or like Shopify, or you like, I don't know, have a gambling website. Doesn't matter. We take a look on the whole blueprint, right? On the whole, how the whole model works, and from which tubes they get the water. I call water traffic.
So you kind of give recommendations of like, this
Exactly.
is your business, and if
And
you spend XYZ.
yeah, and we develop or build the tubes so we can put the water, right?
Yeah.
The how we make it. We make a beautiful landing pages for the social media. For example, if it's like, let's say a business that sells better for the social media, we make a beautiful landing page on Instagram, or we make a beautiful landing on the website with branding as well, or we do the proper Google Map listing, and sometimes everything together. And when it's beautiful looking, we starting to put the traffic. The way how we drive traffic, three ways: influencers, organic, paid advertising. Influencers, organic, pretty much easy, right? No, understandable, right?
Yeah.
It's depends, but the paid advertising, this is the most work thing, because you pay, you get, and you know exactly how you'll get,
Yeah.
right? And I use the platform called Google 360. You can Google it. It's like the most targeted platform that can give you the marketing analytics reports.
Mhm.
You can track like everything. Even when people call to your business, you can even like listen how your salesperson speaks. And if the person not speaks properly, we also take the actions, and we're telling change the salesperson or change the script. And we develop the whole funnel from the moment when person see the ads to the moment when he like sends his information, or like set up an appointment for the consultation, everything.
How many people are part of your team behind the scenes?
It's not big. I have 15, but depends on the project, less. For example, main thing that you need is a web designer, media buyer, person who buys, social media manager, and designer, like regular designer. And also you can add them more, but connect it specifically. I have like a different technician for the Google Map. I have a SEO expert with search engine optimization. Yeah, and that depends. And like it's different packages. Like some businesses, they count every cent, and like they little paying us like 2,000 a month. But some businesses like gave us 500K in like 7 months just for the SEO.
Mhm.
It depends.
And
What's your feeling about LinkedIn? Chella is really notorious on the app for speaking a lot about LinkedIn. Often people, in your world actually skip
Yeah.
LinkedIn, right? They'll
No,
say
no, no, no.
Instagram.
LinkedIn.
But LinkedIn obviously is powered by Microsoft today. They went from 800 million users to over a billion now, and they're about to launch something that's very similar to TikTok, right?
Yeah,
We have a lot of contacts behind the scenes testing that out, and it's an underserved market. And when used right, like it'd be very powerful to get through to CEOs with a lot of money, of course.
absolutely. I've been in the office of LinkedIn. I've been visiting them. I've been like in most of the companies in Silicon Valley. LinkedIn, it's an amazing tool to get B2B clients, business to business. And we do the LinkedIn scrapping that helps us gather emails of certain companies so we can make mail list with offer. LinkedIn scrapping, it's like the best. We've got a company in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, the Silicon Valley, who've been selling the medical equipment that is like expired or like was dropped by the universities, different, and it's a specifically B2B sphere. So you can't get like sales from social media, right?
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, and LinkedIn is the only way. We also got a clients who've been developing the projectors on the sandbox, where like kids can come and play at the same time. It's projectors on the wall, so you can it like interactive projectors. And
So these are mostly products though. So
yeah,
like someone like Chella, for example, if she's on LinkedIn maybe selling a course,
no,
then
yeah,
it's not the best
of
place for her to
course,
be.
of
You're
course,
saying,
yeah. But
right?
LinkedIn, I would develop LinkedIn because it's an amazing opportunity to connect with the CEOs and business owners. Speaking about the event, like LinkedIn must
Would
have.
you say more than direct messaging versus content, right? Obviously, you could have both, but a lot of people just do content and they forget you could just direct message a lot of people on LinkedIn, and they often only have like 1,000 to 3,000 followers or
I
connections,
find
and often like their CEO doing 20 million to 50 million of revenue, and they're just sitting there. Everyone's focusing. No offense, on people in similar shoes like that have followings like yours, like in the hundreds of thousands, and they're so focused on those metrics. But really, when you look at, a lot of individuals in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, they don't give a crap about social
Yeah,
media.
absolutely.
Right. And they have large checks to write. And you were saying it earlier, dentists, right? Dentists are that, typically age bracket 40 to 70 most often, right? There's
Yeah,
less dentists joining these days.
absolutely.
They don't
Absolutely.
retire. Right? You kind of know where I'm going with this, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's 100% true. And that's why I wouldn't consider LinkedIn as an content place. It's a place where you can gather contacts and then make a proper mail lists with offer. And the way how you need to make the mail lists is also like a lot of different things to not put your message in the spam folder, right? To all different small things that needs to be done.
Well, Chella, thanks for joining us here on the Owwll Podcast today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ellie, for asking my question, because I appreciate it, because I was going to ask the same thing.
Okay, great.
I will look forward to watching the replay. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take care. So this is how Owwll works. I know it's your first time, so you can see Chella up here. Should we give her a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5-star review? What do you think?
I think 5-star. Why not?
I think we do. And then we put a great call. And how cool is this? It goes right on our profile instantly. So what's unique with Owwll is very similar to LinkedIn. You could just reach out to people that you do not know, connect over a call, and after the call, get a review, and it creates a Rolodex where you could always go back and look at the people you've spoken with. If you're an expert with high influence, you could charge higher rates and make money at the same time. But it self-polices itself, right? Because if someone comes into this app and you solicits, eventually people are going to be like one star. Like this person just called me, had no interest about who I am, what I did, and this and that. But we have all these featured experts right here on this category, and they're hard to reach professionals. And you get in touch, and you were talking about business owners. Like here's Dennis, who owns Forever Young, and they just publicly announced they exited. One of the fastest growing franchises in the world. They went from 5 franchise locations in the med spa space, which is very profitable, especially down here in South Florida. And they grew to over 130 franchise locations. And then they just exited the last week or so. Right. So then all of a sudden you got a business owner in here, and what are they going to do next? Right. And a lot of them go down personal branding and then maybe to their next venture of buying another business. Right. So Owwll kind of works very similar to LinkedIn on steroids, not about so much the metric element, more the relationships, of course. And here's another example. We have Sandy Glant, right? Sandy's married to Jared Glant, who is, running Grant Cardone's side on the marketing end. And then Sandy has a huge community as well. She has a big event coming up this Friday. She was recently on the Owwll Podcast as well. And boom, you could see she's taken 6 calls, and you could get connected, and then you can move over to Instagram and then build a connection with her, right? And then, of course, for everyone listening, here's our guest today, all his information. And then, of course, here's his profile.
And we do find, even though maybe you're charging $1, right? The lowest price, people are more willing to respond to you and chat with you if you're like, hey, would love to pay you for your time and chat on Owwll, because they know that you're serious, versus sending a million DMs can you give me advice, or I want to talk to you? They probably get hundreds of those a day, right? If they're higher up. So just using Owwll, and even if it's $1, just showing people that you're willing to get on this app and take the extra step does really make a difference. So
sounds great. That's
okay.
It's idea. How did you came up with the idea to create this app?
Just actually very similar to your situation. I in financial services, running 2 podcast shows. And I had a lot of connections, and all of a sudden I was driving to work one day. I'm like, wait, I can't call any of these connections. It's awkward, right? Everything's turned to text and DMs. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. If I'm driving to work at 8 a.m. and I got an hour drive to Miami, let's say, right? And you're driving and you're just sitting there listening to music. Wouldn't it make more sense that we were having a conversation, just chatting about business, where it didn't always have to be scheduled out? Like, hey, you want to chat? I can't call you anymore. It's awkward to call you at random.
Yeah.
So I said, there's got to be a tool that eliminates the awkwardness, but also helps other professionals, because entrepreneurship is skyrocketing and solo entrepreneurship is so lonely. I was like, there's got to be a tool to help people connect better and eliminate that friction.
Yeah.
And the paywall, helps facilitate that, the reviews. And it's really just an atmosphere for, professionals to connect with one another easier. And it's different than all the other platforms because it's through voice. And
Yeah, that's how a lot of projects in the IT industry was like launching super fast by making something which is neat for yourself.
yeah,
And when you make it, adapt it to the way how you use it in anything, and like user experience in the banking field, right? That's why like neo banking right now is more popular than the regular one. That's
sure.
why new apps that coming up on the platform are more have more potential. The only thing is to show it to more people.
And also time. People are just so sick of wasting so much time on emails, texts, and things that you could just speak to someone like yourself who's an
Correct.
expert and like, okay, I just found the answer in 3 minutes versus watching a 45-minute YouTube video where it said the answer on the 45th minute, right? So often we just need a voice on the other side, a mentor. And I think we're in this age where a lot of people are just sitting on their couch scrolling, and they're missing that human connection, right? And human connection is important to society. So
Hmm.
we hope Owwll obviously can be brought in one day to universities, help the students look at this app differently and say, hey, put this in the curriculum, learn how to speak to other people. It's not just DMing and texting and those metrics, because those metrics are becoming scary, of course,
Yeah.
based on the data, what it's doing to society. So it's that time of the show.
Oh yeah,
Why don't you tell them?
I almost forgot. So, um, so this is the time of the show where you were talking about gambling earlier, and this is where we do a bet.
You know what I can also tell you a little bit more about and take this topic. It's about the spiritual path and like spiritual practices, because it's also a great part of my life that I can't really tell about. And as I always tell to my friends and my family and like people who ask what's your secret, I have two wings: physical and spiritual. So, and in
You're
case
an
if you
owl.
wanna develop in the physical world, you need to grow spiritually first.
I agree.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. Well,
You got to make a spiritual bet then, because this is
I know. I'm
this
like,
is the gambling
oh,
side.
this is the gambling, the
We have
bet.
some fun. I'm a gambler. I play a lot of poker, Texas Hold'em, and I love going to Vegas. And we made this thing where we bet our guests something at the end of the show. We don't tell them this in advance because
Okay.
they've listened to an episode and gotten to the 50th, 60th minute. They don't know about it. So we're going to bet you something, and you're going to bet us something. And then a week later, whoever wins and loses.
So, pretty much how it usually works is we will ask you to do something. Typically, it's on our platform. So,
Mhm.
Data driven, of course.
yeah. So, I would say, within the week, so by next Wednesday, we're going to ask that you, I was going to say that you make or receive on our app. So make or receive 7 calls. So I don't know, 7's like a spiritual number, I feel like.
I can make
What's your favorite spiritual number?
23.
Okay, I'm not gonna make you do that. So, but
Yeah.
how
He's
know,
saying he knows how to do
and
conversions really. We could
it's
say you have to get 23
23 calls.
downloads, right? Because
it's
he's got all these influencer contacts. Should be
instead of
super simple.
making like 7 calls with the spiritual different people, I can make one or maybe invite one person here so you guys can speak with him, who is like in the spiritual community and at the same time in the spiritual aspect, I would say. So
I don't know. What do you think?
Well,
We are
it depends who he is.
yeah, it
Right?
depends who he is.
We have a show that's booked out 2-3 months. This one and the other one. So
he's
our,
a
our metrics to get on, we have to be careful on. So before we agree to this,
so I
Yeah,
don't think that I've seen this kind of people on your platform as well.
okay,
He's a shaman.
okay,
He's
let's
a shaman.
go with it. I trust him.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to
I think it'd
refer
be
someone
cool.
great. People actually,
He wasn't at
in
the
that-
event, was
in that-
he? Okay.
okay, so we'll have him come on, and
But
you come back and join us.
I've got 2 shamans.
There's
by
a
the way, in the
fourth.
event.
There's
I
a
am
fourth seat.
I
So
will
you're
have to
gonna
tell you
you're
about
gonna
what I'm doing
co-host.
on Monday, by the way.
Oh, really?
You know Guru Dev?
Guru Dev.
Yeah, okay, I'll tell you. It's something that happened at your event actually. And now
Okay.
I'll tell you it later. We don't need
Okay.
to. But anyway, okay. So you're saying you can
Okay,
get
he's gonna get them on the
the
show,
shaman.
and you're welcome to come in and take the fourth seat and guest co-host with us.
Yes.
Okay, that's up to you. we'll make that deal. And then what, but he's got to do an action on Owwll, of course. That's if he loses, he has to give us that referral. So what is are we going back to 23? What are we
Wait,
doing
I'm
at 23?
Well, no. So I think the thing is, if he gets this person to come on our show,
Oh,
right? Is that then we?
But how would we know that by next Wednesday?
Yeah, that's true.
Actually will be away from the state next Wednesday.
Yeah. So maybe
Okay, a commitment by next Wednesday is what you're saying. An email introduction, and he has to say yes to joining us on this show by next Wednesday. That's email or text. That's easy.
yeah.
You're friends with
Okay. So if
Get that
he's
done by an hour from today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if he says no, if he's like, no, I can't do it, then what do we get from him?
Oh, that's a good point.
That's a very good question because it might happen.
Okay, so if he says no, then we get free marketing from you.
Free marketing. It can be like 3 of my fees, for example.
Yeah. But we still have to
like
put
the
the money
budget-
into the ads, I guess, or maybe.
I
What do
can,
you
you
think?
know, I can, what I can make. I can sit with you, like to take a look on your model and make like the
I recommend
Give us like a
consulting. You're
consultation.
going to
Or
get
Yeah.
us a
yeah.
and like my suggestions, what I see, and my ideas. And if
Okay.
you guys
Deal.
integrate these ideas,
So, but if you
It's like the opposite. He should be like, that's hard to get a meeting to do
Yeah.
that. So it's a kind of reverse.
So if you get this guy, if you get the shaman to come on the show, then what do you want from us? So it could be you getting to come in here and bring whoever you want and do your own podcast show.
yeah, I would actually make a podcast with him.
Okay. So either way, you want this guy. You're
Yeah, I
saying
would actually make a podcast with him. I would
okay.
actually,
We'll go back to back. We'll do an episode, and then right after
we
he's
can,
here,
we
and
can
then
make it like this, or
change
maybe you
the-
can sit with him.
change the
separately.
television, and then no one else switch outfits, and you got your own show.
Okay.
Doesn't really matter.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, that's the
Is that a
deal.
deal?
Deal.
Okay, shake on it. That's a deal. Everyone saw that. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us here on the Owwll Podcast. Everyone tuning in, just look at the television, follow him, and of course, go right into the Owwll app and follow him there. You will receive a notification when he makes himself available. And you guys know the rules. He's $1 until he gets to 10 calls before he can unlock that privilege. So, of course, you definitely want to pick this man's brain for $1. And, of course, grow your business. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday around 5 o'clock.